Welcome back, everybody. We're out here a beautiful February day and we're about to stack some more firewood, but before we get to that, we've got a number of chores to tackle, and those chores got me to thinking, what's the problem with firewood? So the way we do firewood nowadays is pretty resource intensive. We thought all this stuff's saving us time, and it is, and it's making things easier, but it ends up costing quite a bit of money. So I went and filled up, I got 20 gallons of non-ethanol fuel a couple weeks ago, and it was $4.79 a gallon, and that's 90 octane. But I've found that is well worth it for the small engines we maintain. The nearest station that sells that non-ethanol fuel is about 25-minute drive from here. Which isn't bad. A lot of things are 15 to 20 minutes from here, but it's worth the time. Like I said, to get 20 gallons at a time, and that'll last me a good portion of a season, if not more. So, in an attempt to get ready for stacking more firewood, we need to clean up around here. We got a brush pile, and that's the top of a maple tree that we dragged out of the brook last summer. It was like 100 degrees that day. It was 7 degrees when I woke up this morning, and that's another benefit of firewood. 7 degrees when I woke up, but I was in my Crocs and tank top inside the house, nice and warm. But first things first, clean up this brush pile. There's some good firewood in there still, so I'm gonna chunk that up into rounds, and then we're gonna set this thing on fire, hopefully. Alright, slight change of plans. There's a lot more firewood in that thing than I thought. So that pine I grabbed from up top there, son Jonathan here, is going to build a fire just like inside, right up as close as he can. And I might have to use the grapple to knock the pile onto here, see if we can get it to burn. Like I said, it's been drying dead for at least 6 months now. See how she goes. Yeah, perfect. Get the matchbox wet. The whole firewood thing didn't used to be such a big deal when we all lived in small cabins, real tight-knit communities. Now we've all got giant homes of our own, so pound for pound we're burning a lot more firewood. And that's fine, but it's a lot more work. It shouldn't be this much work burning a brush pile like you see here, but it is. And that's the nature of getting firewood from your own property. You can leave the tops in the woods, but in this case we decided to bring them up here, and we're paying for it now. More cleanup.
I got full ice.
Yes, you do. Is it warm? So there's no way around it. Firewood takes up a lot of room, a lot of space. So this what you're seeing behind me is less than a year's worth of wood for me and my family. It's about 6 full cords, maybe a little less. But it takes up space. It needs to sit out in a windy environment, ideally for at least a year, most species and most climates, to get down to a lower moisture content so you can burn it inside your house safely. So if you don't have that space and you got a smaller property, you got to find a spot to dry a bunch of wood. So yes, this looks beautiful, nice enough to me anyways, but it's very likely that if you've got a smaller property, your backyard could very well be lined with firewood in perpetuity. It's nice when it's all stacked, but like you see there's some seasons anyways where it's not the most beautiful thing to look at. But when it's done drying, it's in good shape. So that's something to think about. So I touched on cost earlier just briefly when I was talking about fuel. But you can really, sky's the limit with how much money you can spend. Certainly on the low end, the bare minimum, you're gonna need a saw and you're gonna need a splitting maul, but that can be had for $50 used. We went on the other end of the spectrum. We don't have a processor or anything, but we've got a few $1,000s in a log splitter. The chainsaw is $1,000. The tractor's $20,000. Both of those can be used for quite a few other things, but that's where we're at. So this cost could add up very significantly quickly to save a few dollars on propane, natural gas, oil, whatever else you burn to heat your home and provide some good ambiance. I don't know if you're providing ambiance with natural gas though. I guess they got those fireplace thingies. We can wrap another one in there. I would say that HGTV has been kind of a staple of the millennial culture, and I don't see a lot of wood burning stoves going into those houses. And one of those reasons is because besides being a lot of upkeep, it's dirty. You're bringing wood, trees into your home, so that wood, trees contains dirt, bugs, rocks, sticks, all kinds of stuff from outside. You're bringing that into your home. There's no way around it. As neat as you try to be, you're gonna have a little dirt associated with your wood, and I'd say that's another problem. You're gonna get dirt in your house. So another thing to think about with your wood stove is that the wood is not like a thermostat. You can't just set it and forget it. You've got a limiting factor there in how much wood you can keep near your wood stove. Whether that's in your living room or in your basement or some area of your house, you can only keep so much firewood, dry firewood, near that stove. So every day, half day, week, depending on the season, depending on your setup, you're gonna need to bring more wood into that stove. So that's tracking that dirt in, and it's good exercise for you, but a lot of people don't think about that. It's a chore, and it's definitely a factor that puts it towards that way of life type of thinking. So all those chores and work associated with firewood, I think they're all overshadowed by the fact that even on a cold, windy February day like this, if you spend enough time outdoors, the family's gonna join you, and that makes it all worthwhile. Firewood, it's a way of life. It's a lot of work, but this time we spend outdoors with the family, it's precious, irreplaceable, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So that's that. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care.